Welcome to the weekly Comic Web Old Time Radio Program podcast. We sell old time radio programs, Golden Age comics in PDF format, and we have other free podcasts. Visit comicweb.com for more information or find us on Facebook and iTunes. This week our podcast features an episode of Tales of the Texas Rangers called Quicksilver. It first aired on August 5th, 1950.
It's National Wheaties Week. Yes, it's National Wheaties Week, and Wheaties present Joe McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another in the Wheaties big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joe McCrea as Ranger Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles, and 50 men who make up the oldest and most famous law enforcement body in North America. And now, from the files of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on facts. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, Quicksilver.
At 11:30 on the night of May 22nd, 1947, the Stockholm Ranch, located in the middle of Carson County, Texas, was darkened for the night when the occupants were awakened by the barking of a dog.
Jim, wake up.
What's the matter, Phil?
You hear Jeep bark?
Well, kinda. I was half asleep.
Funny. He barked and then shut up real fast.
He might have took off after
He'd
something.
have kept on barking then. It sounded like he
Be
was...
quiet a second.
See? Don't hear him anymore.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, take a look, see. It ain't like Jeep to bark at nothing, then shut up.
Jim.
What's the matter?
Jim, somebody came in the house.
Oh, you probably just heard the kid tossing in his sleep.
No, I got a funny feeling.
All right, I'll put on a light and have a look.
I'm coming along. I want to go and see if anything...
It's National Wheaties Week.
Time to buy Wheaties, eat Wheaties, buy more Wheaties, eat more Wheaties. Time to join America in a brighter morning. Sure, it's National Wheaties Week. Everybody's eating them. You have some, too. Have them for fun. Have them for flavor. Have them for feeling good and working good and looking good. Have Wheaties for any reason at all, but get them. Whole wheat, crisp whole wheat, golden whole wheat. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. You try them. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. It's National Wheaties Week.
On May 29th, 1947, the bodies of Jim and Flo Stockholm and their 10-year-old son, Carl, were discovered by a playmate of Carl's. Sheriff Lockins notified the Texas Rangers, and Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case.
Place is just like it was, Jace. Sipping for the bodies.
Kind of a mess, isn't it, Sheriff?
Yeah.
All three of them in their night clothes, you said.
Yeah. This here is Jim and Flo's bedroom.
I see. Bedclothes mussed up. Whoever did the killing woke him up.
Likely the dog woke him.
Oh, yeah. Jeep, you said.
Found him dead a piece from the house. Clubbed over the head.
Okay, let's say Flo and Jim Stockholm were awakened by the dog. Jim would get up and see what was the matter. Flo went with him probably to see if the kid Carl was okay.
They didn't get no further than in this room here, right outside the bedroom.
Yeah, all three of them. Funny Jim Stockholm didn't have a gun.
Yeah, If he thought somebody was in a house or prowling around outside, he'd have grabbed his gun.
Unless something stopped him.
What are you thinking about, Jace?
Just that the killer might have got in Carl's room.
That's right over here.
Uh-huh. Maybe Carl spotted the killer, hollered, and that'd make both Jim and Flo jump fast.
Yeah. Jim wouldn't think of grabbing his gun.
This window here has been jimmied up. You see that?
Yeah. I guess you're right. Killer coming this way. Kid saw him, yelled.
Tried to get out. Got as far as the room out here.
Here's what they were killed with, Jace.
Flat iron. An old-fashioned flat iron.
Yeah, used as a doorstop. Killer grabbed it and used it. Wonder why he didn't shoot.
How far away is the next ranch, Sheriff?
6 miles at least. Why?
Just figured maybe the killer didn't want to risk the noise of shots. Must have picked up the flat iron.
Why, he killed a little kid, too.
Didn't want anybody to be able to identify him.
Yeah, likely. Well, what now, Jace?
I'd like to fine-comb this house for fingerprints. Meantime, I got a few things I'd like you to find out in town. There were no fingerprints anywhere, except those we knew of the murdered people. The motive for the crime was robbery. Jim Stockholm kept fairly large sums of money on hand to pay cash for whatever he bought. We didn't find a penny in the house. The whole thing looked hopeless. Like the sheriff said when he came back to the Stockholm ranch.
Yeah, the coroner can't give us much, Jace. Ain't no way of telling how long they've been dead.
If we could find out what day the murders were committed, we'd have something. Not much, but something.
Yeah, but how? How are you going to find that out?
Nobody saw the Stockholms before they were killed?
For sure. Jim went into town on the 22nd week ago. Out here, if nobody sees his neighbor for a week, ain't nothing thought about it.
So, the murders could have been committed any time between the 22nd and the day the bodies were discovered.
That's the way it sizes up, Jace. Killer's got at least a week to make tracks for, well, Texas is big.
Uh-huh. And, Sheriff, that fence there, near the corral.
Well, it's a hog pen. Hey, the hogs are gone.
Yeah, busted through. Come on.
I never noticed it before. Never thought about looking for the hogs.
Who would? Well, look here, Sheriff, where the fence is busted through. Look at these.
Here.
Hog bristles. Lots of them. Caught on the broken part of the rail. Hogs broke out and pushed through here.
Yeah, but look at here, Jace. What's it got to do with what we're after?
What made these hogs go wild and break out? It's my guess they got awful hungry.
Sure. They went looking for something to eat.
Come on. We're going to the barn and take a look at the hog feed. Then we're going into town. We found 3 sacks of hog feed in the barn. 2 of them were full, unopened. The third had just about enough mash taken out for 1 feeding. Sheriff Larkins and I went into town. Then the sheriff asked a few questions I wanted answered, and I checked at the feed store.
Sure, Jim Stockholm bought all his feed in here, Ranger.
You remember when he was in last, ma'am?
You bet I do. It's the last time anybody saw him.
The 22nd?
That's it.
What'd he buy?
3 sacks of hog mash.
Yeah, got all the information you wanted, Jace.
Thanks, Sheriff. Now, ma'am, is there anything else you can remember about that day? Stockholm seemed troubled or anything?
No, just stopped in for a minute. All he said was he had to get back to the mash. It was all out.
Are you sure of that?
Just as sure as I'm standing here.
And you're sure it was the 22nd?
I can make it real sure, Ranger. Got all my sales in this book. Let's see. 25th. Yeah, here it is. 22nd. 3 sacks of hog mash to Jim Stockholm.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's go, Sheriff.
You're sure welcome, Ranger.
You helped a lot.
What have you got, Jace?
The Stockholms were killed on the 22nd.
How do you know?
Jim Stockholm bought these 3 sacks of feed on the 22nd. He said he was all out at the ranch. He had to get home and feed the hogs. We found 2 of the bags unopened.
Yeah, and the third with only about enough mash out of it to give the hogs 1 meal.
Which means he fed the hogs on the 22nd, but he didn't the next day or the next.
Because he was dead.
That's it. Now we got a lot of checking to do, and it's all going to hinge around the 22nd. questioned everybody, but it all added up to a big round zero. Everybody knew Jim Stockholm and liked him. He didn't have an enemy. Everyone we questioned could account for his time on the 22nd. Nobody'd seen a stranger in town. So I played a hunch. Sheriff Larkins and I rode over to the Stockholm ranch trying to pick up anything. Then about 8 miles north of the ranch, we got a break.
Hey, Chase!
Yeah, Sheriff?
Here, will you?
What do you got, Sheriff?
I don't know. Looks like ashes. Empty bean can there, too.
It's like somebody cooked himself a meal here.
Horses' tracks around here, too. One horse.
Yeah. It's like they might be about a week old.
Might not mean a thing, Chase. Could be anybody's horse.
Sure could, but nobody in town saw a stranger. Little town like that, people notice a stranger right away. But if a man came riding from this direction, chances are nobody'd see him.
Still could be anybody.
I know. Now I'm going to take a real close look.
Okay, I'll cover this part.
Good. Sheriff, come here.
Get something?
I think so. Look. Tied his horse to this mesquite. See? The horse stood here, piece of mesquite broken off. Now, here's something else. Take a look.
Dirt. Just ordinary earth.
Take a good look.
It's different from the earth around here.
It sure is. Different color and different texture. Sheriff, I got a hunch this dirt scraped off a boot when he got back in the saddle. Scraped off by a stirrup.
Yeah, here's a bigger hunk of it.
Yeah, reddish color. You ever see dirt like this around here?
No. That hunk's got a funny shade.
Backed in against the instep of a boot, it'd take this shape. You had any rain around here lately?
That dry as a bone.
There's only one way earth packs up in an instep if it's wet. The man who left this couldn't have come far. Come on. Let's see if we can find a couple of his footprints. We picked up a few prints. I took their measurements. Then we went back into town. I asked some more questions. Meantime, I sent the earth samples to the lab for analysis. And by the time I got back to my headquarters, Captain Stinson had the report.
Looks like this earth came from southwest Wheeler County, Jace. At least the lad thinks so.
Wheeler County, southwest. Well, kind of fits, Captain.
Fits what?
That part of Wheeler County is not far from Stockholm Ranch.
No, it isn't.
Just about as far as it'd take wet earth to dry out and get hard enough to scrape off a man's boot.
Yeah, I see. What else you got?
A few horse hairs I picked off the mesquite bush. Looks like the fellow was riding a sorrel. And something else. Plaster cast of his boot prints.
It's a pretty big boot.
Big man. Maybe 6'2" or 3.
You're right. But there are no fingerprints. There's no real evidence. This fellow whose boot prints you got, he might have been anybody. Might never have gone near the Stockholm ranch.
Yeah, I know that, Captain.
You didn't pick up any of his boot prints around the house, did you?
No, the place was pretty messed up. A lot of people got there before I did.
Yeah, that's one break a criminal always gets. If only people would stay away. If only they'd have enough sense to realize.
Sure, but they don't. They don't mean any harm, though.
Okay, what's next? Look for a man 6'2" or 3 riding a sorrel?
I'd like to, Captain.
Starting where?
Well, Texas, I guess.
It's National Wheaties Week.
Yup. And in celebration of National Wheaties Week, when everybody eats Wheaties, even trombone players, here's that well-known radio musician, Abe Lincoln. Honest, his name really is Abe Lincoln. And here he is, stepping out from behind the scenes to say, "Get your Wheaties." Oh, come on, Abe. You didn't come out from your trombone to say just that.
No, but that's the idea. Folks, the Wheaties Big Parade has been bringing you some pretty solid entertainment this summer. I can say it because I've worked along with all the other fellows helping put this entertainment on the air. And now it's National Wheaties Week, and we hope that every one of you who's enjoyed these programs will go out and get your Wheaties. The backstage folks like me, the people whose voices you usually never hear, we'd sure like it if we thought you'd enjoy our programs enough to go out and get some Wheaties.